For as long as Jeremy Clarkson has been on television, there has been Jeremy Clarkson's controversy. The two are inseparable. This was never a bug, it was a feature, baked in from the very beginning.
I honestly believe that sometimes my genius, it generates gravity.
Clarkson's genesis wasn't in the polished, neutral world of BBC broadcast training. It was in the ink-stained, opinion-soaked pages of 1980s motoring magazines, where he was paid to be provocative, witty, and above all, biased. When he brought that persona to the screen, he didn't leave the attitude behind. And so began the sparks. The list of his early contentious moments is a masterclass in pushing boundaries. These weren't isolated gaffes, they were a recurring theme. There was the 2005 episode where, while discussing a German-built BMW Mini, he made a series of Nazi references, including a Hitler-style salute and a joke that the GPS would only go to Poland.
We should do a car that's quintessentially German.
Well, just replace the spoons with little sausages in
No.
clips.
Give it trafficators that go like that. A sat-nav that only goes to Poland.
In 2008, he mused,
What matters to lorry drivers? Murdering prostitutes?
And fuel economy.
Fuel economy?
In 2009, he called the Prime Minister at the time, Gordon Brown, one-eyed Scottish idiot.
In England, we have this one-eyed Scottish idiot. I've said that now.
You said that out loud as well, yeah, you have.
Well, the one-eyed Scottish man, he keeps telling us everything's fine, and he's saved.
And in 2014, during the Burma special, he used the racial slur slope as a double entendre while looking at a man crossing a bridge.
That is a proud moment. But there's a slope on it.
You're right. It's definitely higher on that side.
Each incident followed a predictable, almost ritualistic pattern. The casual remark, the explosion of public outcry, the media storm, and then the apology. Sometimes. This created a perilous tightrope walk for the BBC. They had, in Clarkson, the star of the biggest factual program in the world, a global cash cow generating hundreds of millions of pounds. But he was a star who came with a stack of pre-written complaint forms. For years, the broadcaster perfected the art of the pained public statement. The BBC apologizes for any offence caused. Jeremy has been reminded of his responsibilities. For a long time, the ratings made him untouchable. But casual remarks were one thing. Full-blown international incidents were another. The first true legend of his infamy was written in 2014 in South America. The Top Gear team arrived in Argentina to film a Christmas special, with Clarkson driving a Porsche 928. On its number plate, H982 FKL. To the production team, it was a random, unfortunate coincidence. To the people of Argentina, it was a deliberate, calculated and malicious reference to the 1982 Falklands War. The situation exploded. The team was declared persona non grata. As they fled for the border, they were chased by furious crowds, pelted with rocks, and forced to abandon their cars and escape the country.
The first couple of hits were from eggs. But then, the rock started.
Clarkson was adamant it was a coincidence. The Argentinian government and public saw it as a calculated insult. This was no longer a joke on a motoring show. It was a diplomatic crisis. The BBC backed their star, but the incident proved that Clarkson's brand of provocation now had dangerous, real-world consequences.
Pulled the BBC into yet another Top Gear controversy. Of course, sailing close to the edge of acceptability is a huge factor in the programme's success, both here and abroad. The danger in that is that occasionally, over the past few years, the show has gone too far.
And then came the incident that finally broke the beast. It wasn't a diplomatic spat, a high-speed crash, or an offensive joke. It was, of all things, a stake. In March 2015, after a long day of filming in North Yorkshire, Clarkson arrived back at the Simonstone Hall Hotel. He was told the hotel kitchen was closed and no hot food was available. What followed was what the official BBC report called a fracas. For 30 seconds, Clarkson subjected producer Oisin Tymon to an unprovoked physical and verbal attack, culminating in a punch that left Tymon with a bleeding lip. This was the line. The BBC's hand was forced.
Oh, no, no!
On March 25, 2015, the BBC announced his contract would not be renewed. The king, the architect of the Top Gear empire, had been dethroned by his own uncontrollable temper over a lack of hot food. Even leaving the BBC didn't end the controversy. His move to Amazon's The Grand Tour brought creative freedom, but his most venomous incident was yet to come, this time in print.
He's built a career on pushing boundaries, but this time he's gone too far for even himself. This morning, more than 40 MPs from different parties wrote this letter to the editor of The Sun, asking her to retract the article and to sanction Jeremy Clarkson. They say, "We're deeply concerned about the role modelling being promoted to young men and boys."
His 2022 Sun newspaper column about Meghan Markle, in which he described dreaming of her being paraded naked while crowds threw lumps of excrement at her, was a stunning misjudgment. The backlash was universal, becoming the most complained about article in UK history and drawing condemnation from his own daughter. But to simply label Clarkson a villain is to miss the complex nuance of his appeal. Why, after decades of outrage, do people keep watching? For his defenders, Clarkson is a bastion of free speech, a man saying what ordinary people are supposedly thinking, but are too afraid to say. He's seen as an antidote to a politically correct world, a bumbling, beer-swilling patriot who isn't afraid to be wrong, or loud, or both. This cultivated a profound love-hate relationship with the public. For every person who signed a petition to have him fired, another signed one to have him reinstated, which leads to the big question. Was it all strategic? Was Clarkson a strategic provocateur? It's impossible to know for sure, but the formula was undeniable. Controversy equals headlines. Headlines equal ratings. Top Gear wasn't just a car show. It was the Jeremy Clarkson show, and the drama was part of the appeal. After his BBC exit, his career was forced to reinvent. The Grand Tour was, at first, simply Top Gear with a bigger budget, more of the same. But the true evolution, the one nobody saw coming, was Clarkson's farm. The show stripped away the supercars and explosions and replaced them with mud, sheep, and financial ruin. It introduced the world to a new Clarkson, one who was still bumbling and opinionated, but who was, for the first time, the undisputed butt of the joke. He was no longer battling TV executives. He was battling the weather, government bureaucracy, and his own profound ignorance of agriculture. He was, in a word, humbled, and audiences loved it. So, has he truly changed? The Meghan Markle column suggests the old Clarkson is still very much alive, but his farm persona reveals an evolution, or at least a new, more complex chapter. His journey is a lesson in the power and the peril of a personality brand. He proved that audiences will forgive almost anything, arrogance, insults, even a physical fracas, if you are, above all, entertaining. Clarkson's legacy is complex. He's the man who built a global empire and nearly destroyed it with his own bare hands. He is a relic of an older, less careful media world, and yet a reigning king of the new streaming one. He is, perhaps, the ultimate testament to the idea that in modern celebrity, it is better to be infamous than to be ignored. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comments what you think about the Jeremy Clarkson's controversies.